So, initially, this act of checking on one's application status by changing the URL was simply a self-interested act of curiosity. After all, if given a simple way to find information, the concept the entire internet is based upon, which one of us would not hesitate to give it a try, especially if we didn't think we'd be caught? It was only after the fact, after the transgressors were caught, that any thought of right or wrong occurred. In fact, to many of them it was like, oh, what did I do wrong? Like they didn't even think about it, they just used the tool, as they put it. So up until that point, there was likely little thought given to consequences. And in hindsight, can we honestly say that we were using good judgment in hacking into the application system? And if we're making a poor judgment call, what does that say about our character? Especially if we have kids. I don't know how many of you guys have kids, but if your kid did this, how would you feel? Would you feel like they were wicked smart and they had figured out a way to hack into a system? Cool. Or would you think, you know, I didn't really raise you to be the kind of person who would do something and break something to get in, to find information that you weren't really entitled to see yet. I'm not sure how I feel about this one, honestly. But to the non-consequentialists, they're not looking at the consequences. They're not looking at whether or not you get caught for doing this. What they're looking at instead is your character. And so, does it show good character? That's the question. Doesn't matter if anybody gets hurt by the decision of hacking into the system. And I can tell you right now, there are some consequences to hacking into a system like this. Especially if somebody finds out that they didn't get into the MBA program and maybe they do something to jeopardize the application status of another applicant because of that information. So that's a negative consequence. But again, the non-consequentialists are not looking at that. They're looking at whether or not this was a good character that preceded the action.